Hi, thanks for watching. In this video, I'm going to show you how to put your rear wheel back onto your Aprilia V4. Um, First thing, and maybe the most important thing to do when you have your rear wheel apart, is take some steel wool. You can use WD-40 on these, but these little pegs that go into the wheel, clean those up. You want those to be shiny and they need to be able to slide in and out of your rear wheel. So I like to clean them up, and then I put a very light coat of marine grease, and I mean very light coat, because you will be surprised how much dirt will get into those holes on your rear wheel. But again, this is similar to the Cush drive on a Japanese motorcycle. So you do want to clean that up so it slides out a lot easier next time. And then after that, go ahead and add a little bit of grease to that wheel seal, that bearing seal there. And again, I'm using Lubrimatic marine grease. We're not lubricating anything. We're just sealing it up from all the dirt, debris, and water which you might run through on your motorcycle in your everyday riding. So we clean up the spacer and stick it in with that new grease. And we're going to do the same to the other side also. So it's just good maintenance while you have your rear wheel off to go ahead and clean everything up. It's about the only time that it's ever going to get cleaned up is when you have it apart. So now we're going to do the axle. So I'm just cleaning off the old grease off the axle, and then again I'm going to put a light coat of Lubrimatic marine grease on this axle. And the bearings rotate on well, the wheel rotates on the bearings, not on the axle. The bearings are stationary on the axle. So you don't need to use a high performance grease. You just need to use something that's going to allow this axle to slide out freely next time you pull the wheel off. And that's why I like a good high grade marine grease. If it's good enough for your boat trailer going in and out of salt water, it's going to be more than good enough for your motorcycle that will probably never ever get ridden in the rain. So now that we've got everything all lubed up, it's time to put the bike together. And I'm just going to clean up the swing arm. There's some dirt and debris in the swing arm, and I don't want that getting into my wheel when I put it back on. So we're just going to wipe that down, clean up the brake caliper a little bit. So now we're going to put this rear wheel back on the bike. So this bike is actually very easy to remove the rear wheel and install the rear wheel. It's nice. I wish more manufacturers would make their bikes easy to assemble. Disassembly always seems easy enough, but getting the wheel back into the bike, that's always the hardest part, isn't it? So you just want to roll the wheel far enough forward so you can get the chain onto the rear sprocket. And then we're going to lift the wheel up and line up the caliper with the brake disc. And then we just need to fight it and get it lifted up so it all lines up. That brake caliper does lock into place on the swing arm, so make sure you get that lined up as well. And like I said, you know, this bike is probably easier to get the rear wheel on, get the brake caliper and stuff all lined up. There's some bikes like the older R1s, they're almost impossible to line up the brake caliper with the swing arm. And if you think it's too much of a hassle, you know, watching me put this together, a couple minutes of me fighting with it, you know, by all means, there's only 2 bolts holding that caliper on. Remove the caliper and just let it hang. Then all you have to line up is the caliper bracket, I guess you'd call it. You just have to line that up with the swing arm. You don't have to fight with the caliper being connected to the brake disc. And it doesn't take that much more time. But once it is lined up and everything's in place, it slides all together fairly easily. But this bike in general is one of my more favorite bikes. I do like what Aprilia has done with the V4, and it's a good looking bike. It's not fully fared. It's fast, it's sporty, it handles good. And now that he's got those Pirelli Rosso 3s off this thing and he's on a brand new set of Bridgestone S22Rs, this bike is going to handle just amazing up here in the mountains. And since I put these tires on, I've gotten feedback from him that the S22s are probably the best tire he's ever put on this bike. So if you have questions and you're thinking about wasting $500 or $600 on a set of Pirellis, and remember, Chinese run and owned company called Kim China now owns Pirelli tires. So if you care about where your money's going, just a heads up. As of right now, Bridgestone is not a Chinese-owned company, but it might be in the future. And if that happens, then you go to the Dunlops. The Dunlop Road Sport 2s are another just amazing tire if you're carving up twisty roads. So once we've got the axle through, we're going to go ahead and torque down our rear axle nut. I don't give torque specifications in my videos. That's going to be in your owner's manual. And then we just spin the tire and pump the brake and you're good to go. Thanks for watching.